Hi, I'm Barry Hensley, a custom home builder, here to talk with you about the seller's disclosure. You've listed your home for sale, and your realtor has asked you to fill out this form, this multi-page form called a seller's disclosure. It can be confusing, and your realtor is not allowed to help you with it, so we've done this video to help answer the questions of some of the most confusing items on the seller's disclosure. Keep in mind, rule number 1, if it's unknown, don't answer it as if you know it. Put down unknown. There can be complications to putting false information on the seller's disclosure. This is a legal document. It's part of your contract. And if you don't know the answer, don't guess. If something is unknown to you, check the box that says unknown. I want to call your attention to the general information section. Item 10 confuses many sellers. This has to do with professionals or any individual who has come to your home to perform an inspection of any kind. It could be a roofer, an electrician, it could be a foundation repair company or an engineer. Anyone who has provided you with an inspection report for your home must be disclosed, and you must provide a copy of that report. Let's move on to information about equipment and systems. I won't touch on every item. I'm going to highlight the ones that people have the most confusion about. If you'll notice in the first paragraph, it talks a little bit about items that may not be conveyed in the sale of your home. If an item is not going to be conveyed in the sale of the home, you can mark the NA box, but keep in mind that this form does not declare what is not conveyed in the sale of your home. These items must be listed in your contract. The first item that confuses a lot of sellers is an attic fan. Many people have never experienced an attic fan and don't know what one is. This is not a ceiling fan or an exhaust fan. This is a device that is typically located in the hallway of the home. It's mounted in the ceiling and it has louvers. There's a switch on the wall that turns it on, the louvers open, and it draws air out of your home when the windows are open. It's typically found in older homes, but you may have a newer one where someone has installed it. If you have one of these devices, it's called an attic fan. A ventilation fan that is installed on the roof of the attic is not the same as an attic fan, so that does not have to be disclosed as an attic fan. The next item is labeled exhaust fan. Different from an attic fan, an exhaust fan would be in a bathroom or a laundry room. It's also in your kitchen. Some people call it a vent hood. This item draws air out of the room when you're using the laundry or the bathroom or cooking. This is an exhaust fan. Fire detection equipment. This is what we commonly refer to as a smoke detector. And what they're asking you to determine here is whether they are electric or battery operated or both. Obviously, if you don't know, don't check either of those boxes, but you must check if they're in working condition or not. These devices are not the same as a fire sprinkler system in your home. Fire detection equipment. This would be something in your home that is in addition to your smoke detectors. You may not even realize that it's there, in which case you wouldn't know, so you'd check not applicable. But if you do know of something in your home that is in addition to smoke detectors that is there to detect a fire, you must disclose it on this line. Gas fixtures. This is where you would disclose the working condition of any gas appliance or gas fixture in your home. This could be a water heater, a stove or a range. It could be a fireplace. It could even be a gas lantern on the front of your home. So if it uses natural gas or propane, either one, disclose that appliance or fixture at this point. Hot tub. Some sellers are a little bit confused about what we mean by a hot tub. A hot tub is outside your home. A jetted tub is typically installed in your bathroom inside the home. So if you have one located outside, it's a hot tub. Disclose the condition on this line. For the microwave, you may have one that's built in or you may have one that sits on the countertop. If it's a built-in, you need to disclose the condition because it stays with the home. If it's located on the countertop and it's not going to stay with the home, you don't need to disclose it. Also keep in mind that you could have other cooking equipment that falls into this category. It could be something that's connected or built in your kitchen, and it must be disclosed on the next line after microwave. You could also have a microwave oven that's designed to be a countertop microwave, but it's installed into a space in a cabinet. It's not technically built in, but it is installed, and if it stays with the home, it needs to be disclosed. Some sellers get confused about the line that says shower enclosure and pan. Let me explain the difference. When you walk into a shower, what surrounds you around the walls, that's your shower enclosure. It could be tile, glass, a glass door, a combination of those. This is where you disclose the condition of that. The pan is what you're standing on when you're in the shower. It could be a fiberglass pan, which would be a one-piece pan that's all one color, or it could be tile that's installed over what's called a mud pan. In either case, disclose the condition and the type of pan that's in your shower. The next line addresses smoke detectors, in particular, hearing impaired smoke detectors. If you have them, you'll know it because you specially put in hearing impaired smoke detectors. You probably don't have them, so if you don't, mark NA. The next line says spa. We talked earlier about a hot tub, which is installed outside your home. The line spa refers to a jetted tub that would be installed inside your home. If your hot tub is part of your swimming pool, then you would disclose that on the line that says pool equipment, not on the line that says hot tub or spa. Let's talk about drains for a moment. This confuses a lot of people. Drains are outside the home. We're not talking about the sewer system inside your home. We're talking about outside on your property to drain away rainwater. There are several different types. Most people refer to them as French drains, but technically a French drain is installed underground and you won't see it. What you see on the top of the ground is typically what we call a surface area drain. So on this line you'll see that it says French or other. If you have a drain on the surface, it's a surface area drain, you would select other and you would mark the condition whether it's working or not. If you have a French drain, it's typically installed underground, and if it's working properly, you probably know it. If it's not working properly, you're going to have water backing up or standing somewhere on your property, and you would need to disclose that. Retaining walls confuse a lot of sellers. What is it? Is it mine? Who's responsible for it? Let me explain what they are. A retaining wall is a wall that holds the dirt between two lots that are at different elevations. So if your lot is higher than your neighbor's lot, there could be a retaining wall on the side or the rear or even in the front that holds the dirt. A retaining wall is typically the responsibility of the home with the higher elevation. So if you have the home with the higher elevation and there is a retaining wall, it's typically located on your property and it's your responsibility to maintain and disclose the condition. Let's talk about window screens for a moment. Any window that opens, whether it opens vertically, horizontally, or a casement window that has a crank that opens to the side, is required by code to have a screen when it's installed. Some homeowners will remove screens because they don't like the look of them. In any case, disclose the condition of your screens, whether or not they're present or in need of repair. Stucco can be very confusing. Many forms of stucco have the exact same appearance, so it's oftentimes difficult to tell what type of stucco you have. Years back, a stucco system called EIFS, which stands for Exterior Insulation Finishing System, was the victim of a few lawsuits because there were improperly done installations and it caused moisture problems in the home. You may not know what type of stucco you have, but if you do know the type, you must disclose it here on the line that says stucco. The next section on roofing is fairly straightforward, but what confuses some sellers is the question about an overlay. What is an overlay and how do I know if I have one? An overlay is when a roof is installed over an existing roof. In many cases, roofs are removed before a new one is installed, but in some cases, the old roof is left in place when the new one is installed. That's called an overlay. If you know that you have a roof that's been installed that way, you must disclose it here. About midway through the miscellaneous information section, you'll see a couple of lines that have to do with impediments to a swimming pool. They ask for you to disclose above ground or below ground impediments. This is here so that the buyer of your home will know what they're dealing with should they choose to put a swimming pool in. So an above ground impediment could be something like an electrical line that's in the air crossing over your backyard or the area where the swimming pool might be installed. A below ground impediment could be a sprinkler system, a sewer line, an electrical line in the ground, whatever you happen to know of that could impede the installation of a swimming pool. It could even be an old swimming pool that has been filled in by a previous owner. That would be an impediment to installing a new swimming pool. There's a question on the next page that asks if your home is located in an ETJ, which stands for Extraterritorial Jurisdiction. This applies to properties that are not within the boundaries of an incorporated city. They're basically in the county. But how do you know if you're in the ETJ, which is the territorial jurisdiction of the closest city? The only way for you to know for sure is to check with the county. The county keeps records on all properties and whose ETJ they're located in. Your home may or may not be in an ETJ if it's located in the county. If you don't know, you can say unknown. But if you want to know for sure, check with the county that you live in and they'll have records showing whose ETJ your home falls in if it is in an ETJ. LP gas or liquid propane gas. This section is not talking about your barbecue grill that's portable on your back patio that has a little 5-gallon LP gas tank connected to it. This is talking about the gas service to your entire home. What would power your range and your furnace and your water heater. What we want to know here is, does your home have LP gas installed? And then there's two questions there, whether it's local or captive. Local means that you have a propane tank somewhere on your property that must periodically be refilled to provide propane to your home. Captive refers to a propane system that's installed in the entire neighborhood and is delivered to your home through underground lines. You are not responsible for refilling a captive propane system. You just pay your bill like you would with natural gas. If you have local propane, you would have a tank that you're responsible for refilling periodically. On the last page is a question about municipal utility districts, or MUDs. If you're in a MUD, you may or may not know it. MUDs are created by developers who are developing a piece of property with what we could call a private utility system. It's paid for through tax dollars and assessments on the property that you live in. If you're not sure if you're in a MUD, check with the city that you live in and ask them if you're in a MUD. You might also look at your utility bill and see who, for instance, you pay your water bill to. If you pay it to the city, you're probably not in a MUD, but if you pay it to a private company, you may be in a MUD. Again, there's some gray area here, so if you're unsure, check unknown. If you want to know for sure, check with the city that you live in. If you're in the county, check with the county, and they can tell you if you're in a municipal utility district. Finally, let's talk about the requirement to disclose if your home has smoke detectors that comply with Chapter 766 of the Health and Safety Code. Basically, what we're asking for here is that you have an adequate number of working smoke detectors in your home. If you know that you do, you can check that. Again, if it's unknown, check unknown. You don't want to say something that you're not sure of. That's it for this video. I hope it has been helpful for you. We've tried to address the most confusing parts of the seller's disclosure. Again, your realtor is prohibited from helping you with this, so if you have questions about other items on the seller's disclosure, don't guess. If you don't know the answer, check NA or say unknown. That's the best course of action.